Pardon the low production value of this video. I just want to get a couple things out real quick. There's really three problems with this new Ariens Razor walk-behind mower. It's self-propelled. Oh, starting to roll backwards. First is the rear wheels will lock up for some reason. I don't know why. You pull the handle all the way back. This is the drive handle. You push it forward to drive and let it, pull it all the way back, and that would loosen this cable, so there's no pressure on the pulley that would tighten up the belt to drive it forward. So that's what engages it. So push forward to tighten that cable, which tightens the belt, and you let go or pull all the way back, and then you should be able to pull it straight back, right, without the wheels moving, or without the wheels trying to drive forward. But the wheels should be free. Like right now, you can just, you see the wheels are spinning, the back wheel, and it's rolling, no problem. But what you're going to see is when I go up this slight hill, and this does it on flat ground also, but I found mostly when this happens is if you're going uphill and you want to come backwards, right? And then what happens is you might accidentally bump the handle forward just briefly to engage the transmission, but then even if you pull it all the way back and you're sure you pull it all the way back, the rear wheel, one or both, will stay locked for some reason, which is strange. The other issue, these adjustments on the front, this is why I've got this bungee cord on here, which is ridiculous to have on a brand new mower. There's one in the back and one in the front. So this one in the front, you see it's a pretty thin piece of metal here, so you just pull it back and you can adjust. It moves both the front and both front wheels up and down. So you see how you adjust it there. So I would normally have it like on this third one, like right there, and you make sure it's all pushed all the way in, right? But you see how it doesn't stay really locked in there well. Just with the tip of my finger I can move it back, and then it'll get like this, and then all of a sudden it'll just drop down. So if you put some pressure on it, I'll show you over here. You're getting ready to go up a hill. You want to mow the side of this little slope here. So you're pushing forward or driving it forward. The front wheels have a little more pressure on them because they get into this hill, and then all of a sudden the adjustment for the height will just drop totally down, and you end up scalping your grass all the way down to the dirt. So that's a couple weeks ago. It's going to take a few weeks to grow back. I mean, it's clover and weeds really, but the point is you don't want to be scalping your yard like that. Now, this is kind of an easy fix. I just took a cheap bungee cord and snapped it in there, and then I'll just bring it over and do that. So that way I can still adjust it. It's got a lot of pressure holding it, so it's not going to accidentally pop out. But this is a new mower, you shouldn't have to do that. And back here, I haven't really had any problems out of the back yet that I can remember, but it has the potential. It's kind of see how easy that is. Now I got to try to get the back up. I think it was back here. Yeah, this is just kind of flimsy. This piece of metal here for this bracket that's supposed to hold it, that's what's flimsy. So I'll adjust that when I get my both hands free. The other thing is, this is the final one. This is not a huge deal, but it is pretty annoying. This opening here, which is where the the bagger goes on, and you make sure it's all down, everything's seated well. You end up with this gap here. I tried to glue a piece of rubber inner tube here to kind of go over this hole, but it has so much pressure, which is good. It has so much pressure from the wind coming off of the blades, to blow the grass back into the bag. It just blows a lot of grass out right here, and you'll end up collecting grass on top of the deck, and it'll blow back on you sometimes too. So we'll see if I can demonstrate all these things real quick. First, I'm going to try to do the problem with the lockup of the rear wheels, and you may also be able to see the grass coming out between the bag catcher and the mower there. So let's put this on the tripod. And what I'll do is I'll kind of point to the rear wheels when it's locked up, and you can just kind of keep an eye on the rear wheels, and you'll see that I'm pulling the handle all the way back, so it should be released right. It should not be locking the wheels. I don't know why they'd be locked anyway. You can roll it forward, but you can't pull it back. It's like the rear wheel's locked for some reason. You can see what happens. If you're going uphill and it naturally wants to roll back on you, which isn't normal. So if you accidentally push it just forward just for a moment, but then you're pulling it all the way back, which again should totally release it and let you roll backwards, the rear wheel stays locked for some reason. And you'll see that I forced it to happen a few times. But again, if this is all the way back, why is the rear wheel locked? That's strange. And you see an example of just what I did there. Just that little bit of mowing. You've already got clippings starting to build up on top of the mower. So that'll get thrown all over the deck here. Also goes up into the shroud of the engine. And like I said, also it'll kind of, depending on the breeze, if there's a wind blowing, it'll kind of blow back on you. So those are really the three things. The wheels locking up, that's probably one of the most serious things to me, which is something they need to fix. And definitely the adjustments for the height, because those things just, that metal for that handle is really thin and it'll just pop right out of there. Now I can, like I said, I can fix this real easy for myself just with this workaround, but that's kind of ridiculous to have that workaround on there. Let's see. I think that's it. Oh, the other thing is the transmission, the company that makes the transmission in this, I called and left them a message because there's no way to get through their auto attendant to actually talk to a person, and wasn't able to talk to a person, so I left a voicemail for someone that, you know, you get through the general menu there, and never did get a call back. I just explained what was going on. So either nobody checks that, or they just they don't seem interested in talking to your customers and, you know, talking about this kind of problem. But again, I have no idea why it does that. It doesn't make any sense to me why you can engage the transmission with the belt tightened up, you know, by pushing on the lever here. Push forward on the handle, tightens the belt, drives the wheels forward. And if, you know, most of the time, if you just pull the handle all the way back directly and you don't accidentally bump it forward just briefly, it'll roll fine backwards. But if you accidentally bump it forward, which you will pretty often on a hill, a lot of times those wheels get locked and then you're dragging it backwards and it's kind of tearing up the grass a little bit, and it's just frustrating. So something I think Ariens should really address, the transmission, why it's locking up like that, and definitely this, because that is really frustrating. Those adjustments, height adjustments for the wheels, and it'll just slam right down on the ground before you can react. You've already just ground everything right down to the dirt. So that's it.